Arrival of the dark star night. The night sky over Metropolis shimmered with an unusual brilliance, stars twinkling like scattered diamonds across a velvet canvas. Yet beneath the quiet beauty, satellites shuddered in orbit, their signals scrambled by an alien pulse. Across the globe, astronomers stared at flickering screens as a coded transmission pulsed through the void, a rhythmic pattern of shadows and light, like the wingbeats of a colossal bat. Lois Lane stood on the Daily Planet rooftop, her camera pointed skyward. "Clark," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. She had seen meteor showers before, but nothing like this. A shape was descending from the heavens, sleek, angular, predatory. Not a meteor. Not a comet. A ship. By the time Clark Kent heard the first sonic booms, the city was already awake. Glass rattled in skyscrapers. Car alarms wailed. People poured into the streets, pointing at the black silhouette tearing through the atmosphere. Clark's glasses came off in a quiet motion, his jaw tightening. In a blur, the mild-mannered reporter vanished into the night sky. Superman soared upward, cape snapping behind him. The object wasn't falling chaotically, it was controlled, deliberate, a predator circling its prey. As he drew closer, he saw its design, an obsidian hull shaped like outstretched wings, its edges shimmering with alien glyphs. It looked, impossibly, like a bat. The ship slowed, engines whispering like a predator inhaling before the strike, and landed on the outskirts of Metropolis. Dust and flame plumed into the air. Superman hovered, watching, his senses stretched. He heard the heartbeat inside, steady, deliberate, not human. The hull split apart with a hiss. Out stepped a figure wrapped in armor of shifting shadows, every movement precise, calculated. The armor resembled Earth's dark night, yet twisted elongated ears like blades, cape woven from dark matter, eyes glowing with a sickly blue fire. His presence felt like gravity itself had bent. "Kal-El," the being said, his voice deep, resonant, carrying an alien cadence. "I am Kalemore of Draconis. Your world is under judgment." Superman's fists clenched at his sides. "You know my name. Who are you to come here?" Dressed like, he hesitated, unsettled. "Like him?" Kalemore tilted his head, almost curious. "I know of your Batman." Across the void, tales of the Earth's dark night reached even my shattered home. "I studied him. I understood his crusade. And I perfected it." With a sweep of his cape, shadows spilled outward like liquid night, coating the ground in flickering tendrils. Civilians screamed, retreating from the outskirts as the darkness swallowed the light. Superman dropped lower, hovering just above the ground, heat vision glowing faintly in his eyes. "Batman fights for justice," Superman said firmly. "He protects humanity. You've twisted his image into something else." Kalemore's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Justice is irrelevant. Preservation is all that matters. Humanity is flawed, dangerous, reckless. If I do not stop you now, your kind will burn the stars to ash. I bring mercy through control. I bring order." The words echoed with conviction, but beneath them was something colder, an unshakable belief in judgment without compassion. "Then you'll have to go through me," Superman said, his voice a low growl. Kalemore moved faster than expected, launching forward with a blur of shadow tech. His fist connected with Superman's jaw, sending the Man of Steel hurtling back through the air. Superman crashed into the side of a half-built skyscraper, steel beams bending under his weight. He shook off the dust, astonished. Kalemore's strength wasn't Kryptonian, but it was augmented, precise, and devastating. The alien knight stepped forward, shadows wrapping around him like armor. "You see, I am built to counter you, Kal-El. I have studied your weaknesses. I have crafted weapons that pierce your invulnerability. You are not the savior of this world. You are its blind guardian." Superman blurred forward, fists striking in a flurry of superspeed punches. Kalemore's cape hardened into a shield, deflecting blows with sparks of energy. With a twist, Kalemore countered, striking Superman with a blade formed of condensed shadow matter. It bit into his shoulder, not deeply, but enough to draw a flicker of pain. Clark gritted his teeth, realizing this was no ordinary invader. This was an echo of Earth's greatest detective, armed with alien technology designed specifically to dismantle him. The battle ripped across the outskirts of the city, shockwaves shattering windows, car alarms wailing. Superman tried to lead the fight skyward, away from the people, but Kalemore's shadow tendrils lashed down, anchoring him to the ground. "You cannot save them all," Kalemore intoned, forcing Superman to one knee with the crushing weight of dark energy. "For every life you save, another is lost. For every city you protect, another burns. You inspire hope, but hope breeds recklessness. I will end the cycle." Superman's eyes blazed with heat vision, cutting through the shadows. With a roar, he pushed upward, breaking free and slamming Kalemore into the ground. The alien knight's armor cracked, shadows flickering, but instead of anger, he looked calm. "You fight for them as if they are already worthy," Kalemore said quietly, almost mournful. "But worth is earned, not assumed. I will show you the truth of humanity." He raised a gauntlet, and the sky lit with dozens of descending shapes, black, winged drones, their eyes glowing the same blue fire as his. They spread across the horizon, heading for the city. Superman's stomach dropped. This wasn't just a test of his strength. It was the beginning of something far worse. Kalemore rose, shadows swirling around him. "Your world stands trial, Kal-El. And I am its Dark Star Knight." The night over Metropolis burned with the glow of incoming war. Superman, battered but unbroken, stood between Earth and its new judge. His jaw set, his heart steady. "If you want this world," he said, eyes blazing, "you'll have to go through me." And with that, the battle for humanity's survival had begun. Shadows over humanity. The night sky above Metropolis had not seen peace since Kalemore's arrival. His ship still loomed at the edge of the city like a silent predator, its wings spread wide across the horizon. From its belly came the drones, bat-like constructs forged of alien metal and shadow. They moved with eerie synchronization, their glowing blue eyes sweeping across the skyline like cold searchlights. Within hours, they spread across the globe. News feeds screamed with chaos, shadow drones swarming above London's Tower Bridge, blotting out the lights of Tokyo, crawling across the rooftops of Gotham. Each drone carried an emitter that pulsed with Kalemore's alien voice, projected in hundreds of languages at once. "Humanity," the voice boomed across continents, "your trial has begun. Resist, and you will perish. Submit, and you will be spared your own chaos." In the skies over Metropolis, Superman struck drone after drone, his fists shattering their alloy frames. But for every one he destroyed, 3 more seemed to replace it. Heat vision seared through their wings, scattering burning wreckage into the streets below, yet still they came. He moved as quickly as he could, swooping down to catch falling civilians, shielding families from collapsing debris, carrying entire buses away from explosions. But Kalemore was right about one thing: Superman couldn't be everywhere at once. On the ground, police and National Guard scrambled, their bullets sparking uselessly against the drone's armor. Sirens wailed. Children screamed. In every direction, the shadows pressed closer. Superman's comm crackled with urgency, Batman's voice. "Clark," Bruce growled from Gotham. "Whatever this thing is, it's using me. He studied my methods, twisted them. Don't underestimate him." "I already learned that the hard way," Superman replied, soaring upward to smash 2 drones apart with his shoulders. "He fights like you. Plans like you." But his goal, he dodged a barrage of shadow beams, lips tightening. "His goal is genocide." Static filled the channel as Batman's line cut. Superman cursed under his breath. He knew Bruce was already deep in the fight in Gotham, trying to keep his own city from collapsing. The battle carried Superman over to the harbor, where ships burned under Kalemore's assault. He lifted an entire ferry out of the water, setting it down gently on the pier while dozens of passengers scrambled off in tears. Above him, more drones swirled, forming the shape of a massive bat in the sky. And then Kalemore himself appeared again, standing at the top of a collapsing skyscraper, his cape of shadows flowing like liquid night. "You cannot win, Kal-El," Kalemore's voice carried across the bay. "Your efforts are admirable but futile. Humanity consumes, destroys, corrupts. Even now, your kind would build weapons to conquer the stars. I have seen the ruin they will cause. My judgment is mercy. Superman's chest heaved as he hovered above the harbor, fists balled tight. Mercy doesn't look like burning cities. You don't get to decide the fate of humanity. They do. Kalemore tilted his head, studying him with those glowing eyes. Spoken like a savior who has never watched his world die. I was there, Kal-El. I watched Draconis choke on its own arrogance. I will not allow this planet to follow. With a gesture, Kalemore unleashed another wave of drones, but these were different. Larger. Shaped like predators. Their claws dripped with crackling energy, and their wings carried jagged plates of shadow metal. Superman shot upward to intercept, smashing one apart with a single punch, but two more latched onto his arms. Their claws seared with anti-Kryptonian energy, making his muscles spasm. He tore them off with a roar, only to be struck from behind by another's shadow cannon. The blast hurled him through the side of a skyscraper. For a moment, the world swam in a haze of dust and ringing ears. Superman coughed, forcing himself to his knees. He could hear people crying below, trapped in the rubble. Ignoring his pain, he lifted girders, freed the injured, and steadied the collapsing walls. His hands shook from the energy burns, but the sight of terrified children clinging to their parents reignited his will. Superman shot skyward again, battered but unbroken, his eyes blazing with heat. He cut through the drones with twin beams of searing red, carving a path toward Kalemore. The alien Batman didn't flinch. Instead, he raised one arm, and his gauntlet emitted a field of pure darkness that swallowed the heat vision whole. Superman gasped, his strongest weapon had vanished into nothing. You see now? Kalemore said softly, almost pitying. Your strength is meaningless against purpose. I am the purpose you lack. Superman's teeth clenched as he lunged, the two colliding in mid-air with a thunderous crack. The shockwave rippled across the city, windows shattering for blocks. Their fists met in a storm of light and shadow, every blow lighting the sky like thunder and lightning. As they fought, Kalemore's voice echoed in Superman's ear, cold and relentless. You fight for a species that would one day enslave others. You fight for chaos disguised as freedom. When your son dies, will they fight for you as you fight for them? And in that moment, amid the fury of battle, Superman faltered. He thought of Lex Luthor, of warlords, of corruption and greed. He thought of the endless struggle to inspire hope. Was Kalemore right? But then he heard it, the voices below. A firefighter shouting as he pulled someone from the flames. A group of civilians holding up rubble with their bare hands to save strangers. A mother shielding her child with her own body. Superman's doubt hardened into resolve. He turned to Kalemore, eyes blazing again. Yes, he growled. They would. With renewed fury, Superman drove Kalemore through the clouds, their battle trailing fire across the night. The world watched in awe as two titans clashed above their cities. But for all his strength, Superman knew the truth: Kalemore wasn't beaten. Not yet. And as the alien Batman broke free, his cape unfurling like wings of endless night, he whispered words that chilled Superman's heart. This is only the beginning. Tomorrow, I erase their cities. And then, I erase their future. Superman floated there, battered, breathing hard, the weight of the world pressing on his shoulders. For the first time, he realized this wasn't just a fight of strength. It was a battle for humanity's very right to exist. And the shadows of the Vorak army, Kalemore's true fleet, had only just begun to stir beyond the stars. Dawn of humanity's hope. Metropolis was a city on fire. The skyline glowed with the harsh light of destruction, and smoke turned the dawn into a grey haze. Kalemore's shadow fleet had multiplied overnight, blotting out the stars. Their dark wings glided silently, forming constellations of dread above every major city on Earth. At the center of it all stood Kalemore himself, atop the ruined spire of the Metropolis Financial Tower. His cape of shadows stretched wide, tendrils anchoring into the building as if he were part of it. In his gauntlet pulsed a core of living darkness, the Doomsday Pulse, a weapon designed to unleash an energy wave strong enough to erase cities in an instant. The end of your chaos is here, his voice carried across Metropolis, amplified through every drone across Earth. In one strike, I will reduce humanity's cities to dust. Your species will begin again under my judgment, under order. On the streets below, civilians trembled. Soldiers fired on drones that regenerated their armor. Firefighters pulled children from burning cars even as shadow constructs descended. Ordinary people clung to one another, knowing they stood at the edge of extinction. And then a sonic boom. Superman descended through the clouds, battered from battles across the globe but unbroken. His cape was torn, his skin scorched with energy burns, but his eyes glowed with unshakable resolve. He hovered above the city, placing himself directly between Kalemore and the world below. "Kalemore," he shouted, his voice echoing like thunder. "You don't get to decide their future. They do. Humanity will rise, no matter what you throw at them." Kalemore tilted his head, almost sorrowful. "You cling to illusions, Kal-El. They will betray you. They will destroy themselves. I offer salvation." Superman's fists clenched. "You offer chains." With a gesture, Kalemore unleashed the doomsday pulse. Shadows surged outward in a wave of crackling black energy. Superman hurled himself forward, colliding with the blast. Pain lanced through him, the energy was designed to unmake matter, and it tore at every cell of his Kryptonian body. He screamed, forcing his body against the tide, every fiber of his being resisting annihilation. But then he faltered. The wave was too vast. His strength alone wasn't enough. On the streets, people watched in horror as Superman strained against the darkness. And then, something happened. A firefighter dropped his hose and picked up a piece of fallen rebar, using it to smash a drone's core. Soldiers formed barricades, aiming tanks at the swarm. Civilians hurled Molotovs, rocks, anything they could find. Scientists scrambled into labs, jamming radio towers with improvised signals that interfered with drone frequencies. Across the world, humanity, fragile, flawed, unarmed, fought back. Superman felt it. He heard it. Their voices rose in defiance, their courage burning brighter than fear. And he realized this was the answer. Kalemore's entire judgment had been based on the idea that humanity was doomed by weakness. But here, in their darkest hour, they proved themselves strong. His doubt shattered. Superman roared, his voice echoing across the sky. He drew in the power of the sun through the smoke and clouds, his cells igniting like living fire. His cape whipped violently in the energy storm, his body glowing with incandescent light. Heat vision blazed from his eyes, cutting a path through the doomsday pulse. He pushed harder, faster, brighter, until he became a living beacon, not just a man, but a symbol. The darkness cracked. Kalemore staggered as his gauntlet sparked, fractures running across its surface. His shadow cape faltered, its tendrils whipping wildly. For the first time, fear flickered in his glowing blue eyes. "No," he roared. "This cannot be. They are chaos incarnate. They do not deserve your faith." Superman surged forward, fist glowing with solar fire, and struck Kalemore square in the chest. The impact shattered the gauntlet, scattering shards of alien metal into the wind. The doomsday pulse imploded, collapsing into itself with a blinding flash. Kalemore crashed into the ruins of the tower, shadows unraveling around him. He tried to rise, his armor flickering, his voice trembling. You cannot change what they are." Superman stood over him, chest heaving, eyes fierce. "You're wrong. I don't fight for what humanity is. I fight for what they can become." The words carried across the city, amplified by sheer conviction. People on the ground cheered, tears streaming down soot-stained faces. Soldiers saluted. Children raised their fists to the sky. Kalemore's head dropped. His cape dissolved into dust. With a last shuddering breath, he looked at Superman and whispered, "Perhaps I misjudged," and then, his body faded, retreating into shadow, vanishing into the wind. Whether he was dead or simply gone, no one could say. The drones collapsed instantly, raining harmless wreckage into the streets. The sky cleared, the first rays of dawn piercing the smoke. The city was broken, scarred, but alive. Superman hovered above the ruins, exhausted, every muscle trembling. Yet he stood tall, cape fluttering in the morning breeze. Below him, the people of Metropolis raised their voices, not in fear, but in triumph. Humanity had not only survived, it had proven itself. Clark descended to the streets, landing among the people. A little girl, covered in dust, ran forward and hugged his leg. "You saved us," she whispered. Superman smiled, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No," he said softly, glancing around at the crowds of firefighters, soldiers, and civilians who had fought beside him. "We saved each other." The city erupted in applause, the sound echoing through the broken streets like a promise. Humanity would endure. Humanity would rise. And as Superman looked toward the horizon, his jaw set, his eyes steady, he whispered to himself, "The dawn of humanity's hope begins today."